Welcome to our Bedtime Stories channel. Tonight's story will take you on a gentle journey into sweet dreams.
This story is called The Pillowboat and the Sleepy Sea. It's a gentle bedtime journey about a little girl who sails across a calm, glowing sea on her pillow, meeting soft stars, kind creatures, and learning how to rest peacefully. Now, close your eyes and let the night begin. The night was soft and blue, and the town was quiet like a cat curled by the fire. In a small attic room, a child named Mina pressed her cheek against her pillow and listened. She could hear the faraway hum of trains, the tick of the old clock, and the gentle breath of the wind at the window. Mina loved nights like this, when the world spoke in small whispers. She wished for a tender adventure that would not wake the house, an adventure as calm as a lullaby. As her eyes grew heavy, her pillow felt lighter, like a cloud waiting to float. She touched the corner with one finger, and it rippled like a pond. The pillow puffed, stretched, and folded itself into a little boat with a round, soft bow and a blanket sail. Mina laughed once, a tiny quiet sound, and climbed aboard. The floor became a slow river of moonlight that slipped under the door, down the stairs, and out into the night. The moon hung low, wearing a sleepy smile. Stars blinked like friendly porch lights, and the town's roofs turned into smooth, gray waves. The pillowboat drifted past chimneys that looked like lighthouses and the top leaves of trees that waved them on. Mina held the blanket sail and felt the hush of the night around her. Nothing hurried, nothing chased. Everything said, "Be still, be here." At the end of the street, the moonlight river widened into the sleepy sea. It was not deep or cold. It was made of quiet thoughts, soft breaths, and the silver dust of dreams. Fish of light slipped under the boat and left tiny trails, like writing done by fireflies. Mina watched them spell little wishes. Rest well, drift slow, we are near. A gentle breeze, sweet as warm milk, filled the blanket sail. The pillowboat rocked once, then again, and began to glide. Mina tucked her toes under her and let her shoulders fall loose. She was safe, she was warm, and the sleepy sea was wide and kind. She whispered to the stars, "Please take me somewhere where the night knows my name." The stars answered with the softest sound, like a hand smoothing the wrinkles from a sheet. A pale moth fluttered beside her, wearing a speck of silver on its head like a tiny cap. "Hello," said the moth without moving its mouth. "I am Lumen, a guide for quiet travelers. I only fly where yawns are beginning and eyelids are heavy. Will you let me show you the softer paths of the sea?" Mina nodded, and Lumen circled the sail, sprinkling it with calm. The blanket shimmered and the boat grew even gentler. "Follow the hush," Lumen whispered. "It always knows the way home." The sleepy sea opened like a book, and each wave was a page that turned itself. Lumen flew just ahead, a small lantern made of wings. Mina watched the stars deepen, not bright like noon, but tender, the way a parent speaks at the end of a long day. She felt the boat breathe under her, in and out, the rhythm of someone who is almost asleep. "Do you hear it?" Lumen asked. Mina listened. At first there was only the hush of the sea, then a faint tinkling, like spoons touching a glass in a far kitchen. "It is the garden bell," said Lumen. "It rings when a garden yawns. Where there is a yawn, there is rest nearby." They rounded a slow bend where the sea became as smooth as window glass. An island rose from the silver water, small and round, wearing a ring of soft grass. In the center stood a gate made of vines, and beyond it lay the midnight garden. It was not dark there. The leaves glowed like small moons, and the flowers held their own warm light, as if stories lived inside them. The pillowboat slid onto the shore without a sound. Mina stepped out and felt the grass hug her feet. The air smelled like clean sheets and vanilla. "Welcome," said the garden bell, which hung from the lowest branch of a willow. Its voice was the chime Mina had heard. This is a place where tired thoughts lie down and forget their shoes. Mina walked along a path of pebble stars. Beside the path grew drowsy daisies that closed their petals slowly, the way eyes close when a song ends. There were napping violets with tiny sighs and buttercup lamps with soft yellow halos that touched nothing too sharply. Every plant seemed to breathe with her, gentle and even, like a lullaby that did not need words. Lumen perched on Mina's shoulder. "If you like, we can visit the quilt tree," the moth said. "It keeps pieces of quiet from many homes and many nights. When you stand beneath it, you remember how safe you are. That is the best pillow for a mind." They came to a tall, calm tree whose wide branches held folded patches that moved like leaves. Each patch was a memory of rest, the corner of a favorite blanket, the sound of rain on a bus window, the shade inside a book fort. Mina closed her eyes, and for a moment she felt the weight of a kind hand on her hair. The garden bell rang once, a small circle of sound. "Stay as long as you need," it chimed. "No one rushes here. The night will walk at your pace." Mina breathed in and let the air out in a long ribbon. Her shoulders were loose, her jaw soft. All the busy thoughts from the day settled like snowflakes and melted into the grass. From the quilt tree, a path curved toward a small pond as flat as a mirror. Mina saw her face in it, softened by moon ripple. Beside the pond, round stones wore tiny hats of moss, and on each hat a firefly rested like a shy star. Lumen dipped a wing in the water, and a faint ring spread out, slow as a dream. A hush of wings came from the willow. Out floated the pillow swans, birds made of down. They did not flap, they drifted on breaths. Each time they exhaled, the pond grew smoother, until even the smallest wave fell asleep. "Would you like to set down a worry?" one swan asked, its voice the sound of a soft cloth. "If you place it on my back, it will learn to float and then forget to be heavy." Mina thought of the little worry that sometimes visited her at night, the one about making mistakes. She touched her pocket and felt it there like a pebble. She laid it gently on the swan's back. The pebble did not sink. It became a bubble, and the bubble became a star. And the star rose into the leaves and rested. "Thank you," Mina whispered. The swan bowed its neck, which looked like a crescent moon turned to a smile. "We all carry things," it said. "Tonight, let the garden carry you." They passed a bench shaped like a book. On it sat the yawn keeper, a small, round person with a coat sewn from pauses. The keeper's eyes were half closed, not from boredom, but from peace. "I keep safe all the yawns that want to come out but are too shy," the keeper said kindly. "When a child is brave enough to rest, I give a gentle yawn back." The keeper opened a tiny box, and a warm yawn rose like steam. Mina felt it reach her face and settle. It did not pull her down. It simply invited her to sink like a feather. She breathed with it, in and out, slow and smooth. Across the pond, a path of lanterns lit itself. Each lantern looked like a teacup turned upside down, holding a pool of light the color of toast. "This way to the snug library," Lumen said. "There are books that do not need to be read. You only hold them, and they tell your hands to rest." Inside the snug library, the shelves were lined with covers made of velvet and knit. Mina picked up a small blue book. It was warm. When she held it, her palms felt as if they were being wrapped in gentle mittens. She did not open it. She did not need to. The book leaned into her hands the way a friend leans into a hug. "Some nights, the best story is the one your breath tells," the moth murmured. "In, and you gather the night. Out, and you share your calm with the dark." Mina nodded and placed the book back. When Mina and Lumen left the library, the lantern path had grown even warmer. It led to a low hill with a bridge at the top. The bridge was made of feathers woven together, soft and strong. Each feather held a tiny memory of someone being kind. and the bridge hummed like a lullaby sung by many voices at once. Mina stepped onto the feather bridge. It did not creak, it sighed, as if happy to hold her. Below, the sleepy sea drifted by, carrying boats of leaf and thimble. On the far side, Mina saw a curve of shore lined with little doors. Each door gave off a gentle light. "This is the harbor of homes," Lumen said. "When the night is quiet, every home sends out a glow to say, 'We are here.' Even when you are away, your place remembers you." The lights flickered like breaths, in and out, steady and sure. Mina walked along the shore. The doors did not need keys. They opened at the sound of peaceful steps. Behind one door, a kettle rested after a day of making tea. Behind another, a pair of shoes leaned together, sharing warmth. Everything was simple. Everything was true. She paused at a door that felt like hers. Inside, she saw a couch with a soft dent that fit her shape, a lamp with a paper shade, and a small table with a glass of water that caught the moon. She knew it was not her real house, yet it carried the same promise. You can sit, you can breathe, you can be. Back on the shore, the garden bell rang once more, its sound traveling across the water like a circle of silk. Mina's eyelids felt like they were being kissed by feathers. Lumen hovered by her cheek. "The night is gentle," the moth said, "and you are part of its gentleness." They found a low boat dock made of cork. The pillowboat waited there, rocking a little. The blanket sail folded like a tucked wing. "Would you like to see the Whispering Isles?" Lumen asked. "They teach even the breeze how to speak softly." Mina smiled and stepped aboard, her heart as light as the sail when it first fills. They pushed off, and the water held them. The sea made room for them as if it knew their names. The Whispering Isles rose out of the quiet like stones in a stream. On each islet, reeds swayed, and when the wind moved through them, the reeds spoke in soft words. "Rest here," they breathed. "You did enough today. You do not have to try to sleep. Sleep will find you." Mina leaned over the side and let her fingers touch the sea. The water was the same cool as fresh sheets. It made a tiny path around her hand and then forgot it, the way kind water does. She felt her breath follow the same path. Touch, pause, let go. The reeds of the Whispering Isles bent together and formed an arch above the water. Under the arch, the sea slowed to the pace of a heartbeat at rest. Lumen dipped low, and the arch gave a soft rustle that sounded like thank you. On the far side stood a tall, simple shape that reached from sea to sky. It was the night ladder, woven from silver threads that were not sharp and not cold. Every rung was made of a quiet moment, the hush after a story ends, the soft click of a light being turned off, the breath between a hug and sleep. Mina felt no rush to climb. The ladder waited without asking. She rested her hands on the first rung and looked back at the path they had taken. The glow of the midnight garden, the curve of the harbor of homes, the soft line of the feather bridge, all of it lived inside her now, as if the boat had been traveling through her heart the whole time. "Sometimes, people think sleep is a place they have to chase," Lumen said. "But sleep is a friend who comes closer when you are gentle. You have been gentle. Mina, you breathed, you let go, and the night came to meet you." The moth's words felt like a warm shawl around Mina's shoulders. She let a yawn rise and did not push it away. The yawn reached her eyes, then her hands, then her feet, until even her toes sighed. The moon leaned lower, its sleepy smile a little wider. Mina stood with one foot on the boat and one on the ladder, balanced like a quiet thought that does not need to choose yet. "Thank you for tonight," she whispered to the sea, to the garden, to the harbor, and to the moth. They all answered at once without words, and she understood every part. From the garden shore, the pillow swans lifted their heads. The yawn keeper held up the tiny box, and another quiet yawn floated toward her, soft as mist. The quilt tree let one small patch drift down the air. It landed on the blanket sail and stayed there, a square of comfort stitched from calm. Mina touched the patch and felt a memory rise. The sound of rain tapping a roof when she is safe in bed. She smiled without showing teeth, the kind of smile that belongs to sleeping people. When you return to your room, said Lumen, the path will not be gone. It will fold itself and rest inside your breath. Each time you breathe out, a little of the sea will shine. Each time you breathe in, the garden will yawn for you again. You do not have to remember the way. Your body is the map. Mina nodded. The idea made her even lighter. She placed both feet back in the boat. The ladder did not mind. It knew there are many kinds of going home. The pillow boat turned toward the path of moonlight that had first carried it from the attic room. The blanket sail lifted with a quiet breath, and the square from the quilt tree lay in the center, like a small moon on a soft sky. Lumen flew beside the mast, keeping watch the way a night lamp keeps watch without making a fuss. The sleepy sea narrowed to a silver lane. Roofs became waves again, and the chimneys were lighthouses once more. The town was still, its windows like sleepy eyes. When the boat reached the end of the lane, the moon breathed out, and a curtain of light fell over them like warm rain. The attic window opened a finger, just enough for the boat to glide through. The floor welcomed them with its gentle creak, the friendly kind that says, I remember your steps. As the boat touched the bed, it began to fold back into a pillow. The bow tucked in. The blanket sail became a corner. The mast became a stripe in the cloth. In a moment, everything looked just as it had before, and yet it felt richer, like a story that has been told and is now becoming a dream. Mina laid down with her ear on the cool part of the pillow. She could still feel the soft sway of the sea, but only the part that helps. Her breath moved like the tide at low shore. In, and the water comes to kiss the sand. Out, and it slides away, leaving lines of light. Lumen settled on the windowsill. The moth's wings folded, and their silver dots were little moons. Sleep well, Lumen whispered, barely more than a thought. When you wake, the patch will be hidden in your day. It will look like a calm moment at breakfast, or like the easy way your feet find your shoes, or like the way your voice sounds kind when you speak to yourself. Mina's eyes drifted closed. The yawn keeper's gift reached her again, and her face softened as if the night were smoothing it with gentle hands. Outside, the moon went on its walk across the roof. Inside, the clock ticked in soft seconds that grew farther and farther apart, like footsteps down a hallway. The last thing Mina felt was the pillow boat giving the tiniest rock, a good night from the sleepy sea. Then she slept, easy, while the night kept watch and the world breathed with her.